Okay, welcome, folks. Julie, would you like a list of attendees?
I would like to pass this back around for the new attendees, if that's possible, just so I don't miss somebody.
So I'll call to order. First order, or actually second order, is the approval of the minutes of July 18th, 2018. If we've had a chance to review those minutes, welcome, Mr. Fry. You're throwing me off. I'm not used to you sitting over there. Everyone had a chance to review?
I move we accept the minutes as written.
Have a motion to accept as written. Do I have a second? A second from Dana. Any further discussion? Any problems? Nope. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Do we want to run in order?
Sure.
If I could make the recommendation that we leave the murals to the end? Is that
That's what I
possible?
was, because I think
Okay.
that's going to be a long discussion.
It will, and the others.
So that would move up. Do we have someone here representing Trinity Episcopal Church? If you would step up and tell us who you are and what are you wanting to do?
Hi, I'm Jennifer Earle. I'm the treasurer at Trinity Episcopal Church. We are wanting to replace all the wood fascia on the back half of the church, which is the parish hall, and replace all the gutters. The wood is rotting and the gutters are leaking and broken. We'd like to replace material with like material, so wood with wood, and the gutters right now are galvanized steel, so if we could replace those with aluminum, if not, we'll put steel back up there.
Going to be the same style of gutter?
Same
just a
style gutter,
different
they have to be the
material?
rounded 6-inch, yes. Everything look exactly the same colors, everything.
Okay.
I second.
Have a motion, second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Tell Terry this was very easy.
Okay,
He
I
was
will.
just a big fraidy cat.
Okay, thank you very much.
Please. All right. Next on the agenda is 131 North 4th Street, Gypsy Run Brewery. If you'd like to step up, sir, and oh, and he brought his bodyguards.
Thank you.
Good morning. Glad to have you here.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Glad to be here.
So what you doing?
What you do? Yeah. What would you like to do?
We would like to open a bar and brewery, and in order to do that, our original front door opens in, and in being a gathering space now, it needs to open outwards. So with being in compliance to the building code, we need to augment our front steps, and that's kind of one of the major portions of why we're here today, to discuss our potential alterations to the facade in the front of the building in order to allow our patrons to come in and out of the building safely.
Are you going in Craig's old spot?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay.
Yeah, there. Top of the steps. There's currently no landing for the door that opens at the top of the steps, and there has to be a landing for the door to open outwards. So that's the genesis.
How exactly would it change?
We need a landing that will basically,
Dimensions.
the depth of the landing will not exceed where the steps hit the sidewalk currently. In other words, it will not go beyond the facade that is basically mounted to the side of our steps that are there now. The steps, we can't use those because they have no landing whatsoever. So we need to put a landing out to the end of the steps, and then we will have steps that go down to the side. And so we will not encroach on the side, the open sidewalk at all. And as
Okay.
part of our landing and our steps, we also want to put a little, just a narrow balcony that runs right below the front windows of the building that will have, you can have a couple of small tables for people sitting out on the balcony
that this?
next to, yes, exactly.
That's this one.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you're an architect, that's kind of tough to read, I think.
Well, thank you for describing, because I'm like trying to decide which way was up on this.
Yeah, the main thing is that we will not go beyond how, where the steps are currently.
Okay.
Okay. So
Which is
this,
a little under 8 feet long by 4.5 feet wide.
okay, so these windows would be under the new balcony?
Exactly, the balcony
Okay.
would be above those windows.
Got it.
Okay.
I think it's a great improvement to the building.
We do too. We do.
I appreciate that. It's my building and you guys have passed by to everybody. It's not the prettiest building in the world.
I've been in and out that door up there. It's kind of like.
There's nothing that we're
worried
gonna
when you
do
step
that's
out.
gonna make it look any worse than it is now. As a matter of fact, it's gonna look, we know it's gonna look a lot better.
That's the best way to put it.
Well, I'm just being honest. That's just my.
Are these buildings on the National
I'm a
Register?
CPA,
They are
so-
not, are they? They
But-
are not on the National
And then
Register.
also, while the top
Are they
is
contributing?
peeling very badly, the top of the
Contributing
building.
buildings?
uh,
Okay.
What is that called, that piece?
Facade, the trim,
The trim piece.
decorative, architectural,
And so we want
corner piece.
to
Cornice.
scrape the cornice completely back down to bare whatever material it is and paint it black to match the steps and the awnings that we use
Okay.
on.
Okay.
So my only question comes about from you were talking about putting out a little balcony on the front. The drawing we have is really hard to read.
Yes.
So,
Well,
materials and things like that, what do you?
does everybody have that picture you just showed us, Julie?
This one? Does everybody have
Of
that?
the building as is?
And this one?
Yes.
This one?
Yeah, we have it.
It's metal material,
Metal.
Yeah.
What color is the metal?
Okay.
Black metal.
Black
It'll
metal.
be sprayed black.
That's good to know.
Powder coat.
And I
Powder
will
coat,
say that
actually.
I went over and talked with these guys for a long time about what a good adaptive reuse was. And I think with what they've done, they've really done their homework.
And this falls within all our codes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The only problem that we're going to get into, if you actually have to replace doors or windows, then they would have to come back for an additional COA to actually replace the windows and the doors.
We don't need to replace the door, we just need to remount it to swing the other way.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And
I
the only
gotcha.
other random question I have is the haberdashery sign was gonna be moved. And I'm not quite sure where it would go.
Go on the far left of the building.
Far left.
Oh, right here?
Probably be a little smaller because we don't want it
One right
to stand out beyond the
And if it
building.
meets code now, if they
If they
reduce
go
the
down.
sign, it'll meet code then.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And the only other question I have, and probably this is more of a, because I've not done this before, and Bridget will be able to help answer this, will we need a sign, will they need to come back before they put the logos on the awnings themselves as signs? Because the COA just says it will go within our guidelines, but it doesn't actually give any size or anything like that. And I don't want you guys to have to come back if you don't have to. So
Or could we
I'm not sure how that
modify
actually
and
works.
Specify a size now.
Yeah, we didn't do the actual calculation to figure out the size.
Right, and I don't know the answer to that. That's,
But when we do the logo on the awning, we will make sure that it fits within the regulations.
I'm just trying to save you a trip back.
Exactly.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Right, absolutely.
I'm not really sure, folks, how to,
So
that's,
logo
Pardon?
one right there?
Yes.
Well, actually, that would be
No,
a
no,
staff
no, no,
approval
no.
anyway.
Yeah.
June, yeah, on the side.
we got to talk about that. That's later down the road.
So
Okay.
the logos are going here and here. So it's sort of restricted by size
Exactly,
anyways.
both sides of the
So,
front of the
just so you
awning
know.
coming out, and on the front, on the
Here and
awning
here.
over the windows, it will be in the middle, but
We-
within
we-
regulation.
Brian, we may just have to wait, because you may have to tweak the size or the design or something as you get to putting this up, so, and she's not gonna let me say staff can approve it, but once upon a time, that we thought. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, our intention is to just have our logo be the scale that fits appropriately within the awning. And if there's a certain specification of like, okay, it has to be, you know, whatever, 48 inches by 24 inches, then we'll do that and scale it to how it looks printed on the awning in,
That's really the easy part.
okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Back to just the approval of the modifications and construction.
I'll make the motion, Mr. White.
Have a motion,
John and Vaughn.
have a second from Mr. Fry. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
It's
you
gonna
all
look
So
very
does
great.
this approves everything that we've presented then as is?
Everything
And then
except
the
sign.
logo is the only thing that we had to make sure that we keep within the guidelines?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to have you downtown. Thank you for doing it.
Yeah,
Okay?
our pleasure. Thank you.
Hopefully, we weren't too painful.
That is,
Oh, I guess that's, I'm talking about item number 4. Okay. I didn't realize that was, darn. Okay. Let's go back to our COAs that we have the folks here for. Let's jump into 135 North Second Street, Sister Cities Mural Project, Part 2 of 2. And I think that is the Elmwood Building. Is that correct? Do I have someone here representing that project? Morning, Mary Beth. If you'll tell us who you are.
I'm Mary Beth Touchstone. I'm with the Sister Cities Commission. And this is just part 2 of the last time we came in. You all wanted to see the design. And so this is kind of the base design. We were looking for something that really spoke to inclusivity, something somewhat international, universal, interactive, international, engaging. And this was the image that seemed to fit the bill for us.
Is that the actual colors?
No, it's going to be more monochromatic. The Richardsons are ultimately wanting to paint their building the same color scheme as used on the beer engine, the beer and the beer and the black, the gray and the black. And so the artist is going to take that into consideration as he converts this into a monochromatic image. But, you know, this way you can see the detail a little better in color, and I wanted to make sure that you saw that it was, you know, multiracial, multi-generational, you know, multi-everything.
So this is more the subject matter than the kind of image, because it just looks like a
Well,
stock
the image will be
photo.
very similar, it's just that it's going to be monochromatic, it's going to be less color.
Will it be more artistic and less stock
It'll,
photo?
I'm sure it'll be somewhat more artistic, yeah, but I mean, it's,
This reads like a stock clip art ad to me. I'd like to see more about what
Talk about this later.
the creative license is going to be. And I do have one kind of more substantial question. What is the acrylic gel that they're going to be using to apply this to building? What's the brand? I mean, we couldn't really,
I can look that up on my phone here for you. I think that was the information I may have supplied last time, or
You didn't give actual,
anything less.
the brand name? Okay.
Would we need the final art to come back at a future point, Julie?
I don't know. I guess, my feedback is this looks like something that we could just tear out of a magazine and apply it on the building. And I'd like to see the artist piece of it.
Well, if it's time, I have an additional question because, and I'm just throwing this out there for discussion. The ordinance / code is pretty specific on product endorsement.
Yeah.
Is that going to be an issue in the future with this particular graphic? That we seem to be
Pretty clear we're
endorsing a
marketing
business?
tea.
Yeah.
could be coffee?
We just need to hash that out.
Yeah, we do.
Because that question is going to be asked by future applicants. Why can't I put a bicycle or running shoes or a mug of beer or,
That's true. That's true.
I'm asking the question, is that an issue? We're setting a precedent. I mean, we have to be very careful here.
That
I
is,
have to agree with Tom. I think it's not now, but it's what's gonna happen down the road. Somebody surely will bring that up. And then it's gonna be the question, well, you all let them do it, why not us?
Although, I guess just thinking out, the argument could be, if you put this on the Derby shop, they're wearing clothes and they sell clothes, so is that, I mean, if I really want, I can justify anything. So, I don't know.
my comment would be as long as there's not actual branding on the items, I don't have an issue.
Okay,
Okay.
But I think it's an excellent thing to bring up at this moment.
yeah.
It's very good.
I'd like to see what the artist is gonna do with this.
So what type of motion do we have here, or something to the effect of motion to proceed, but we still want to see final product?
Are we approving the concept? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
We're approving the concept? No?
Can we do that?
I'm
or
just
what?
thinking it's confusing. I think when you approve whatever they're going to put up, I think it needs to be, that's what you're approving, because that's
Okay.
what, as far as enforcing goes, we're going to go look and see, what did you approve, and does that match what you approved?
I make a motion to approve.
I'd like to see the gel applicant first, to see what that
If you'll
is.
give me a few minutes, I'll run out and get my PC and get that information, but if you'll go on to the next one, I'll come back and tell you the name brand of the gel, because I
So
can't
we
find it. on
table
my phone.
this?
Yeah, because I think we're gonna have to do a little research on putting that on.
I did a little research.
Did
in the
you?
past. Yes.
Oh,
That's the
thank
first thing I
goodness.
researched.
Okay.
And it's very, if you can get us the brand, I should be able to say yay, nay immediately.
Okay.
Because it is a very common way of applying.
Okay,
it. It's
that's
approved
great.
As a good reversible way. So no, I would have like flagged it.
So we can have a
Okay.
motion with a condition. Okay.
Yeah, I had that question too. Yeah.
My immediate concern was
Scrape it
reversible.
off and paste
Yeah, I mean, it was,
Okay,
I
that's
got the
great.
sense that it was approved last time pending your review of what the design was going to look like. So that's what I was prepared to bring today.
Yeah,
I
Do we
didn't bring
even
my full
need to
file.
approve it now, or can we wait until the final product?
The motion's on the floor to approve. I think you need to act on the motion.
Oh, yes, it is.
I heard a motion, but I didn't hear a second.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
So, discussion. Before the second.
Well, let's continue.
You
to
need the
discuss.
second.
So the thing, this is the imagery itself of people enjoying tea together that, or drinks together, is lovely, but it's just one of those like, yeah, we want to see the artist's conception. And you had brought samples of the art last time, and that was lovely, but it's just really hard to go from this to jump to the wall.
Well, I do have it in what they call posterization, where they take it to a grayscale. It does not present as well, and I wanted you to see the detail. Again, I could, if we've got a printer, I could get that printed up right now and let you look at that. Be happy to.
Want to table this, and we'll go on to the next item, and then
Sure.
we'll come back.
Happy to do it.
Is that okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Motion, let's give a second.
Nope. So we're tabled. Well, it hasn't, we're not finished yet. It's not dead yet, John, it's still,
It's part.
I think, is that proper,
part.
is that proper procedure?
Yes.
Can we table in the middle?
Yes. Yes.
I am not a Robert's Rules of Order aficionado, as anyone who comes, thank you.
You're just putting it on pause.
Pardon?
You're just putting it on pause for a minute.
Pause button. Next is 124 North Third Street, Heart of Danville mural on the Derby Shop, design review. Do we have anyone here? Hey, Mr. Wade,
Nick Wade with Heart of Danville. How are you all today?
we're good.
So I will preface this by saying that the completed mural will not be black and white. The artist chose not to color it because it's part of her process. So on, if approved today, on Saturday, September 22nd, we will have a community paint day where the public will actually be invited to come out and help paint the mural. And so the public will actually get to pick the colors and the blocks that they go. So it's a little more interactive. And so because of that, it's not colored as it is, as you see it today.
When I initially saw this, I had trouble reading what some of the things were. Like, my initial was like, why are there 3 smokestacks to the left? And then I stared at it from like, oh, that's a trumpet.
It's a trumpet.
And then I was like, okay, it's an American flag, why isn't it the Kentucky or Danville flag? And it just, I don't know what to say. Those were the two immediate things that sprung to my mind when I looked at this.
And I think that items like the trumpet, because I will agree with you, as a black and white, I think it's hard to read. But once there's color and there's separation because of the colors, it will be easier to read, and some of the things will stand out a little bit more. And I will tell you, we chose to do an American flag instead of like a Kentucky flag by request of the property owner who wanted a reference to our veterans. So.
Oh, yeah, and the finger on the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was the other for a minute.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's gonna be problematic.
So that is, we are changing that one item. So one of the things, the process worked, we had responses from over 100 people, and KSD kept coming up as a responses to what makes our community historically bold. So the finger is actually going to be converted into the sign D, the ASL D, to stand for Danville and KSD.
No, the big D. That's what we're gonna put on this mural at this point in time in social media.
I have a
What
real
does that
problem
mean?
looking at this and just approving this
Oh,
without
no.
any colors in it at
Yeah.
all. I'd like to see,
And I know you've had community feedback. The folks who have kind of seen the sketch of this, the comments I'm getting back are folks would like to see something maybe a bit more traditional or.
Well, I mean, I will say that when we presented this at the last meeting, we presented this as, this is this artist's style. It was, I mean, and it is very much in line with the style that was presented. And if you all are saying to us now that you don't like this, then the Heart of Danville will be out $3,000. Because we have to pay in order to get the design and in order to do the process. And that's why we brought it to you months ago and made it very clear that this is the artist's style, this is what it will look like, before we kind of started the rest of the process.
Oh, and we did have some people who dissented last time. It's not, honestly, I don't have trouble with the style, but just those items I brought up, and really, don't use D. I would use I love you, find something else. Yes, we'll see it as KSD, but I guarantee you other people will.
Okay.
So,
Can you get a microphone, Vaughn? Can you get a microphone?
I think we need, I want to see what it's going to be. I don't like this thing of, well, we'll do this and we'll do that. You know, we need to see what it is, so I'm against it.
if there was some color added beforehand, I mean, you said that's her process, is to have the people, could she, does the artist have a selection of colors, or is it just?
No, I mean, she will have a palette. It's primary colors, oranges, blues. I mean, it's going to be colorful, but it's not going to be like shades and tints. So it's oranges, reds, blues, greens, yellows.
So Nick, are you saying that if we don't approve this, then you all are going to lose $3,000? How are you going to lose $3,000?
Because we've had to pay her. We had to pay her $1,000 to get the process started, and then we had to pay her another $2,000 to have the design in front of you today.
So she charged $2,000 for just one design?
Yes.
Who negotiated that deal?
That's the process. That's the way it works. I mean, she would not release the design to us until she had a check in hand.
Who negotiated that deal?
That's her fee. I mean, there's no negotiation. It was her fee, and it's how it works.
So who's on the other end? Wait a minute, I got the floor. Who's on the other end of the stick? Who negotiated with her?
That's her fee. When we contracted with the artist, we knew what her.
Did you do that? Did the city do that? Did the staff do that? You did?
That's
It's
the
a Heart of Danville. The Heart of Danville took it on.
You just answered my question. So my point is, every time there's a change, she's going to charge.
No.
No, if you reject her style, if you reject the style of
She needs
this
to come
mural,
to the
then
mic.
you cannot work with this artist.
Can you step up, please?
Of course. So I'm Kate Snyder. I'm the chair of the design committee for the Heart of Danville, so I've been doing some of the work with the artist. What we're trying to say is we can certainly make small tweaks to the design, and we already have. If what I was starting to hear is that some of you were thinking that you were not comfortable with the style of the design, In that case, we cannot work with this artist because this is the style that she does and this is the style that we were contracted to do with her. Therefore, if the style is not accepted, then we don't work with that artist, but we do still have to pay her for the work that she's done. And then this project would just go away and we wouldn't be able to do it. That's all. Not that we can't change the D or, do a few tweaks. We've already suggested a few of them to her. She works in a very free-form style. This artist, a lot of artists who do murals will have their exact image. So basically, the one that the Sister Cities is doing, he'll have the exact image. He will project it onto the wall using a projector, sort of trace it all out, paint it all in. Andy freehands. She is a different style of artist. So this is her design. When she comes to do the actual mural, she will not be projecting. She will be freehanding this onto the wall and then inviting people to come in and fill in the paint with her. In terms of the color palette, it'll be the same color palette she uses in all of her murals, which is the same stuff that we presented last time when we talked about the style and the feel and the colors. She uses the same basic color palette in all of her work. It's part of what makes her very distinct and very unique. You can pick out an Andy Rudloff mural anywhere you see one, much the way that you can pick out a Keith Harington art anywhere you would see it. It's got a consistent feel. It's part of what makes her the artist that she is. Do I know exactly what color the flower in the front foreground will be? No, but it'll be within that feel. And I would imagine some things would be the colors that you would expect them to be. Like that Trinity's door is gonna be red because it's Trinity's door, right? It's not gonna be hot pink or, well, okay, depends on how your eyes look, what looks red to me. That was a bad example. It's not going to be teal green.
Did you, I want clarification. You just said when she comes in and she freehand and she changes, is she gonna change anything from here?
So the basic things will be the same. Could that star in the corner be a few inches to the right or left? Of course. Is that some of those things going to shift around a little bit as she puts them on? I would expect that that is very possible. If you're working across the way and you ran out of room on the left, then maybe that microphone scoots over, things like that. This is the design that she has presented to us.
Right now, there's existing signage on that building. Will that come down?
Yes.
And that's agreeable by Chase Bank and the owner?
Yeah, the owners have said that that's fine by them.
Okay.
Yeah, that was part of the initial conversation, that was where that was going to go.
With the building owner or because the signage was for Chase, I assume there was an agreement with that.
Right, we've spoken to them and let them know that it'll be coming down.
Okay.
Remind the board that I sent an email to everyone that had links to this kind of imagery before it was voted on last time. So, you all should have been aware of what you were voting for.
And I will make a motion that we accept the proposal.
I will add before we take a vote, the one thing that is not on here is there's going to be some lettering, and we can bring that before you the next time we meet. We are going to be working with Kirby Stafford to do Danville, Kentucky. We did not have time to get the lettering put in in order to make this meeting, but we're thinking it's going to go above the actual mural.
Why does it have to identify Danville, Kentucky? I mean, is this particular image how Danville, Kentucky identifies itself? People know where they are.
It's true. So what happened after the initial meeting, some of the community feedback we got was a sense of, is there a way to incorporate a local artist into this project as well? Kirby Stafford approached us and offered to become part of the project, and that what he does is that kind of cool lettering style. And it felt like a good way to bring his expertise into the project by adding something like Danville. A lot of her murals have the name of the place incorporated into it. At least some of them do, like across the top, Highfield, Connecticut, or wherever it is that she's doing, to kind of say where it is. And the reason that we thought about doing that was to give Kirby a chance to be part of this project.
We're not allowed to
as
have
well.
identities or labeling in murals. So that might include the city.
Why wouldn't you all put the lettering on there before you came today?
The nature of the timeline, we didn't have time. We were trying to give as much time for the community to give their feedback on the design, and we just got it from our artist on Friday.
Officer Grove?
It's supposed to be real little. They put this as actual sign.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you look at this, and I looked at it closely, starting left, going right, if you look at it, everything in there details Danville, Boyle County. I see the red doors of the Episcopal Church. The musical instruments is basically the Brass Band Festival, Center College, the county courthouse, the historic cabins, your breweries that we have here now. I mean, it's evident. Basketball, because Kentucky is basketball. The airplane for the field, the airport that we have. I mean, it's definitely Kentucky. Center College. I mean, you could look and not look at it and tell that it's not. Constitution Square with the Constitution. So, I mean, you know, it's Danville.
Is there a motion on the floor?
Yeah. Do we have discussion?
I was just going to amend it to say that we just approve this design as is, and that's it. I mean, we've already approved it.
And I guess throwing in the Danville, Kentucky
It's just too
at
much.
the last minute is really kind of throwing a wrench into things, and we love.
I mean, and if you feel that the mural is fine as is and does not need the lettering, I mean, that's a piece of the puzzle that we can take out. You know, as Officer Broach said, everything in here is Danville. There's even a Stephen Powell piece in there, and so I mean, for local people who will look at it will see the things that make it Danville.
I just have one. I just don't like the Trinity door. It looks like a surfboard with teeth. Can we tweak that a little bit?
I don't know, will you let us tweak that, or do we have to come back and show you the revised
I
Trinity
think the
door?
door placement is fine. I just think the way it's designed, it looks weird. And so if you're saying that's Trinity, that looks like they're coming at you, man. So if we could just talk to her about that, I think we've already approved this. As much as, I wish I would have been at the meeting. I won't tell you what I would have voted, but
the
think we're
motion
stuck
actually
with
was
it.
just approving putting the mural on. It was not approving this. The motion was not approving this mural.
It was approving the location.
It was approving that they could put it on
was
the building.
agreed. We did, part of that
Didn't we approve
motion
this
was
artist?
to, this artist.
And I think you were there, Julie.
no, I
You
wasn't.
said it looked like a coloring book.
Hang on.
No, I didn't. I might have done that. I didn't.
Our motion,
I would have voted no.
Yes, Bridget?
I was just saying, the last meeting, we just approved that they could put it on the building.
That was
This
my
artist was
impression
not
also.
approved, this design, nothing was approved. That's why you're having to come back, is to approve the design, because we are a hearing board, we have to approve what is presented in front of us, and the motion from Mr. Bowling was approve the COA, but you have to come back for approval of the design.
True, but at the time, we did show you examples of the artist, and you are on record as specifically saying, if anyone has concerns about the style of this artist, now is the time to discuss it. That was covered. And that's certainly within your purview to change your mind, but I
And
just
we
wanted to be
were
clear that we
aware that-
have covered all this.
when we were aware at that time that they were gonna have to pay $3,000 to get to this point. So that's what this board approved.
That was in the
With
minutes.
the-
Yeah.
No,
Without
it's not in the minutes.
I'm asking a question, was that in the minutes?
I don't believe so. No. I'll double check here, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, but we did discuss it.
I don't see it scanning it, but it may have been discussed, but I just don't see it in the minutes.
All right. Are we back to a motion?
Back to a motion, I stand by what has been presented today.
Okay,
I
understood.
Make a motion that we approve. That does not include Danville, Kentucky.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
What was the motion?
That we approve as presented today, as applied.
Without the envelope.
Without the Danville, Kentucky. I have a motion. Do I have a second? I appear to have a lack of a second. So the motion fails. Staff, where do we go from here?
Well, the COA is not approved. They can't use this mural. If you've not approved, if you can't get a majority vote to approve it, then they cannot put it up on the building. They would have to go with another, they can come back with another recommendation for you to
Approve
approve.
the location, but they have to come back with another.
Well, I mean, there's no approval for the COA, so without that approval, they can't move forward.
And what
Right.
you're saying is that you want a different artist, is what I'm hearing. It doesn't sound to me like the majority of you would be comfortable even, because I didn't hear any other specific small tweaks. What I'm hearing is that the location is fine, but that the majority of you do not want this artist to do artwork in downtown Danville.
That's the way I feel.
I'm just clarifying so that we know
That
where
seems
we're
to be
going
That
next.
seems to be the sentiment.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Mary Beth, do we have? Back to our tabled item.
The company that we were looking for is Nova. It's Nova Color Paints. And they're out of California. They also do the top coat. So that's the answer to
I
the
mean,
So
it's
the
a
gel is a
concrete
Nova
block wall. You
brand?
scrape it
Okay.
and paint it again. It's,
I have no concerns about
Okay. Great. Oh.
Looking at it up close, it doesn't make the very best impression, but,
but it's close.
yeah. And I think the
Closer.
shading would be, I mean, the color palette would be different, because as I said, he's trying to
Bring it in with the building.
And looking at other murals that this artist has done, I feel pretty confident that it's going to be a satisfactory
I
image.
like this. And realizing the color's gonna get tweaked a bit. Fine, all right. With what we have in front of us, do I have a motion?
I move that we approve this.
No, we
Oh, I
table.
second
No,
it.
That's right, we had a motion, now we have
I
a second.
second.
Thank you, sir, I stand corrected. You can be our parliamentarian. You get a pay raise with being parliamentarian.
I'm not
Okay.
doing my job down
I have a
here.
motion, I have a second, further discussion. Julie?
I guess
Are
we're
we
ready to
okay?
call the question, yes.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. Thank you for your patience and your continued work
Thank you, I
on
appreciate it.
this.
And I just want to please implore you all to be open to new ideas when it comes to public art. I'm thinking in terms of what you've just let escape our hands, which is a well-regarded regional artist wanting to come to town, having already been paid to do a design, and we're letting it slip through our fingers. It's our communal loss if we don't embrace new and exciting things. And in that back parking lot area where you've got the beer engine and you've got plank rolling out there and farmers markets and food trucks, and we had the opportunity now to have it anchored on both sides with murals that you know, the city isn't even funding. They're privately funded. Embrace it. Embrace the change. Be historically bold. That's what I ask you to do. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item number 4, revision of the COA Streamline process. Staff?
Well, we talked about the staff being able to approve everything that was in the addendum number D. Well, as we're moving through this, it seems to me, and I talked to Bridget about this, that the spirit of this was to make getting signs in the district easier.
That's
But
correct.
as we look at this, it's still very limiting. It says that I, as staff, can approve the replacement of an existing sign exactly as it's designed, but anything new has to have staff review. So,
That wasn't
Board
my
review, has to have board
understanding.
I'm
review.
sorry, board review, right. So, it's very clear, so,
Okay.
You approved Appendix D,
right.
so, and we didn't really catch it till we got into actually doing it.
Doing it.
And it's like, oh, wait a minute.
So if somebody comes to me and says, we want to put this sign back, except we want to have brick pillars as opposed to wood pillars, I cannot approve that.
So how can we amend this?
Well, there's a couple, and I had thought to make some recommendations, but I wanted to get your all's feel about what you wanted to do. The simplest and easiest thing would be to say that staff can design it as long as it's within the guidelines already approved.
Thought that's what we did, but
Yeah.
sure.
Well, it is, except that we just approved Appendix D, which is, the language is very specific. So, I hate to put a monkey wrench in, but because this is a hearing board and it carries the weight of law, we need to be very specific about that, yes.
Do we have to have a public hearing and everything to make this change?
No, it's.
Okay.
No, 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 no.
motion?
So basically, you guys can,
The
according to the
ordinance says that
Does
the
it have to
board
go
can
back to the
determine
city
what
commissioner?
items that staff
No,
can
it's just
approve.
here. Okay.
Okay.
All
That makes
right.
it a little easier for us to.
Right, and before, I go out
Because
there
this
and
was a
say.
painful process of a
Yes.
couple of
It
years
was terrible.
to get this thing done.
Well, and I just want to make sure that we are adhering to what we passed in our meetings. And as it stands, I've had some discussions with the church, and they want to do a sign, but basically they want to put brick columns as opposed to wood ones. It's the exact same size and everything, so, but the way it reads, I can't say yes.
Do I have a motion?
Oh, you have a motion.
Oh, that's easy.
What is the motion?
Repeat what you just said,
I would just recommend that the staff can approve them as long as they are per the already approved guidelines in our design guidelines.
Kind of no
Signage.
brainer.
Signage.
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 So if you disapprove, does the applicant have a appeals process?
They can come before you.
Yeah.
This is
Okay,
just
I
a,
have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion?
Can I read this back, please?
Please.
A motion to modify the language that the staff can approve signage if it complies with the DAHB guidelines. Is that what you?
Correct.
Okay. And Mary made the motion and Vaughn seconded?
That's correct.
Okay.
Very good.
All right,
All in
done.
favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great. Thank you all. Any
Adjourned.
motion to adjourn?
But you should ask that question first.
Anything else since we're here? Motion to adjourn? If it dies for lack of a motion, do we have to stay here? Have a motion to adjourn? And-
I made the motion.
Made the motion?
Vaughn seconded.
Vaughn second?
I already wrote it down.
All in
so-
favor? Aye. Thank you all.